This is Paul. Yes. Just so that I understand, this concept of child abuse and domestic violence, this crime that they say is so serious. Yes. How is it possible, right, that you waited approximately 24 days for the allegation of me violating a protection order when I had called Healthy Families of Clallam County, the domestic violence advocacy agency of Clallam County? Now, I had been there numerous times, okay? Pooch. And I tried to give them a response to the dissolution of marriage. Yeah. But every time that it was not on or before the next judicial day, I think you actually violated the intent of the laws of the domestic violence and child abuse laws. Now, it could be today that we have some new lawsuits. Let's see. I was on Guam, international waters. Yes. You decided to issue a protection order where I received no due process. Then you had me served on Guam. Yes, yes, yes. As if I were some really bad person. Oh, why don't you call the probation officer that served me? Because she brought out what looked like some other federal marshals kind of looking through the place, making a movie, maybe. Now, was it a legal service of a protection order to serve me on an international territory of the United States, 13,000 miles away? Well, it has the full faith and credit of the United States Constitution. Yes. Did she realize that she was serving me a protection order, whereas the respondent, I was not? Well, I told you about the UCCJEA. And you don't seem to want to enforce the actual federal statutes that the Washington state government has actually adopted instead of the previous one that they had. Ouch! 49 states of the United States. Now, I know you had to make sure that I had a copy of it before I left Guam. I'm wanting to sue you today and have you put in prison. The police and sheriff's department have an obvious anger problem that they're not willing to acknowledge is causing them to refuse to enforce the actual laws of the United States. They're unable to enforce them. They have an inability to recognize that a court order has to be followed as it is issued. Now, when you issued it by minute order, yes, after arresting me 3 days after she filed for dissolution of marriage for the allegation of violating it 24 days before, that was not within the 14 days. Now, I know the citation was issued 24 days after. How is it possible that Healthy Families of Clallam County that got the fucking phone call from me didn't realize that it was reasonable that if they're the fiduciary of the alleged domestic violence victim, yes, and they're the case managers of my 5 sons, Jessica and Heidi, yes, that they had an obligation to allow for the possibility of reconciliation. Pouch! Because I did 7 hours of parenting classes. Now, when is the court and the law enforcement going to acknowledge that I'm not a domestic violence abuser and I'm not a child abuser? Well, you just wouldn't accept that, would you? For the last 2.5 fucking years. You got an anger problem today, don't you?